Today, the prep work part. Really, we're talking about the research, the planning, the tools. This is everything that we need to do before we meet with potential investors, right? We don't want to just talk to somebody and show up with like no plan together, no tools and resources there, right? Before we get to this meeting, we need to have all our ducks in a row, have everything set. So today's call is on everything that you need to do, all the homework and the tools you need to build out, the brainstorming and different ideas, offer creation, kind of offer structure, all of those things leading up to when I have a sit down meeting with somebody, I got everything ready. I know what I'm going to present and I have all my tools together. So let's start going through these things. Here is everything that we need to do. And here's the first part. The first part is the actual business plan. So here's what you need in order to dial it in, right? You need the location. And again, I want to come at it from the perspective of done, not perfect. And this is really what I mean by that. I think that a lot of times people are scared to talk to people. Most people are introverted and they don't want to go and meet with strangers, and especially talk about money and numbers and things like that. So you put little obstacles in front of yourself, like in your mind, and you say, okay, well, I will do it after I've gotten this and this and this done, right? Like after I've done my market research, after I've gotten bids back, after I found the perfect property. If you wait till after, you've literally missed the deal. So I want to show you guys that realistically, this business plan, it's already 90% done. You could probably take an hour or so, finish it up and be ready to roll. And again, that will get you to done, which is before good, which is before perfect. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be good on this first one. I just need you to get to done so that you can remove any excuses that your mind will try and put in front of you so that you don't have these conversations, right? Like we're just trying to get to, let's make this as easy as possible. So my business plan, I specifically separate from my financials because my business plan is going to be more generic, going to be more of an overview. And I can kind of get it from done to maybe good or perfect the first one or two rounds, right? Like it can go from draft form to just a little bit more and I can dial this thing in. Where my financials I'll talk about later is going to be more of a progress and continuing update. So on this business plan, realistically, it shouldn't take you very long. But location, right? Like you may know I'm going to be in this city. I will only be in this city, or I've done my market research. I'm looking at land and I want to be in this city. You may say, well, I don't know what city. I got 3 or 4. Maybe I'm going to be in this county. Or perhaps you have a couple different county options. Maybe it's going to be, I'm going to be in this metro area, right? Like it doesn't really matter at this point. It can be very specific or it can be broad as far as your location, but at least put something in there. And again, from this perspective, you don't have to wait 6 months. You can probably get this done in a week or in a half a day or an hour potentially if you haven't had this part done yet, right? So easy is the goal here. Done, and then you'll dial it in from there. So find this location. And then the second part is your license type. There is a section in the business plan template where it talks about license type. And again, it's starting with my section. So I'm in Texas, it talks about type A and it talks about type B. If you're not in Texas, that's not applicable, but it's not too difficult to go on the state's website and say, oh, okay, well, there is, this type of assisted living and there's this type of assisted living. Let's put those in there right in the same blocks, right? And then let's put a description. I'm going to be this type of licensure, which means this, right? A little summary, 3-4 sentences. It means I can have end of life care. It means I can do this. It means I have 24-hour staff. This is what my license means. It shouldn't be too difficult to find that information and put it in there. And then the next thing is your bed rates and your comparables, your comps, right? Like you're gone through the market study here. You have looked at what is in your market. You should know, hey, apples to apples for a private room with a bath in a nice, beautiful, big facility or small facility. I'm 65 or I'm 75 or, it's a range of 65 to 7,000, whatever your number's in, put that in there. And again, it does not have to be perfect. You can adjust these later. But then you pull up some of those comps. Like here is, 2 or 3 of the comparables, the other assisted livings that are very much apples to apples, right? So if I am building new construction, end of life care, I have fantastic service and a fantastic building, then I'm trying to find that product, right? Which does not necessarily mean just the smaller homes, right? I'm not looking for that if they don't have a beautiful product and if they don't specialize in the same level of care that I have. Most of the time, honestly, in my experience, my apples to apples is another big facility. It's a big 4-story building that has 150 units of independent living, and then they have 60 units of assisted living, and then they usually have like 16 or 20 memory care. Honestly, that's my apples to apples. Just that memory care license right there. Like, what are those bed rates? I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to show, here's my comp, right? It's this big smelly facility down the street. Here is the Google Street View of this thing, or a screenshot from their website. Here it is, right? They offer this and this and this, but we're looking at our same license type, our same product and service is their memory care side or their assisted living side. So I will come at it from that perspective, put in those bed rates, put in a couple comps there in that business plan template, and then that section is done. Then there's my bio. And as you're writing your bio, get a good quality photo of you done, have it maybe edited in Photoshop or something to that effect. But then you write your bio, and you can use AI to kind of help with this. But think of it from the perspective of you are trying to sell yourself, right? You're trying to sell yourself. You were trying to say, hey, whatever experience I have, whether it's running these assisted livings, whether it's being a nurse, whether it's being a business person, these are the things that are comparable, right? Like, I may not have been a nurse, but I know marketing from my past business. I know admin. I know these things, and we're going to hire that manager, right? Like, whatever it is, sell yourself to the parts of the industry that are applicable, right? You may not have all the different necessary skills there, but you're definitely going to have some of them. And then just say, hey, we're going to hire in, and we're using the Palm systems for these other things. So business there, or your bio there, and then your business name. This could potentially be left off in the first draft, but you pick something, and it doesn't have to be I picked it here and I can never change it, right? Like, sometimes it is best to wait for your actual piece of land. And then you see like, oh, this piece of land is in like the Shady Acres area of the city. So I'm going to use some type of play on words over there, or, whatever it is. Like, sometimes it's distinct to the location and sometimes it's not, right? Like Platinum Resort is not. You can name that anything. That could be anywhere, any location. So you can do this, but feel free to change it. The same with the logo. Man, I started with the ugliest logo, and you know what? We changed it later, right? Because I was just trying to get done so that I can go have some meetings and raise some money. But ultimately, I considered everything in rough draft, those first couple. Even my presentation, I considered it like, hey, this is just a learning experience. I'm probably going to screw this up, but nonetheless, I'm going to get better the second and third time. And really just consider everything you're doing as a learning experience. You either get the deal or you learn from the deal. Either of those are good things.